Searchlight Resources. The picture you see here is from our Flin Flon project, just on the Saskatchewan side of the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border, looking back towards Manitoba, and in the distance, very faintly, you can see a smokestack from a smelter. And the point of this slide is our properties are close to infrastructure. This project is very close to the community of Flin Flon, where all of the mining services that you would need to develop a mine are available, and we're only 4 or 5 kilometers away. This is our typical forward-looking statements disclosure. I'm sure you've seen this many times. Okay, Searchlight is a TSX venture-listed exploration company. We have an experienced team. CEO Stephen Wallace is a geologist with 30 years plus experience, and I'm the chairman. I'm a geologist by training, but I've spent the last 25 years financing junior mining and oil and gas companies based here in Vancouver. And I joined Searchlight a couple of years ago because I saw a compelling portfolio of properties in Saskatchewan. And the properties we have in Saskatchewan are basically critical metals properties and gold properties. So we have 1,300 square kilometers in Saskatchewan. Most of our properties we staked directly, so we don't have property payments to make to third parties. We have a very low burn rate. And Saskatchewan is #1 in North America in terms of favorability for mining investment. But the big news about Searchlight, if you can remember one thing, is that we have a very, very good property in northern Saskatchewan called Kulik Lake, which John has mentioned. It has significant potential for both uranium and rare earths. And early in my career as an exploration geologist, I was fortunate in being able to drill a high-grade uranium discovery called Midwest Lake. And this is unfortunately a buggered up picture that I took. It looks much better in our printed presentation. Come on around and see the drill rig. Basically, I was working on a drill rig here, drilling high-grade uranium way back in 1979. This is a map of Saskatchewan. We have 8 projects across Saskatchewan. Stephen Wallace has done an excellent job of finding rare gems in the province where you can find good grades of various commodities very close to infrastructure. And this lowers the threshold for success because close to infrastructure means that we may not have to build our own mining facilities, and a lot of stuff is already done for us. Saskatchewan is mining friendly. Saskatchewan is the major producer of uranium in North America. It's got experience in production of radioactive elements such as uranium, which is also important when it comes to critical metals because rare earths occur in radioactive minerals. So if you're going to go and find rare earths, which are necessary for the electric vehicle revolution, you need to have expertise in mining radioactive ores. Saskatchewan is that jurisdiction, and Saskatchewan is actually developing infrastructure to process rare earths. This is a picture. Unfortunately, it's a little bit buggered up, but you can get the general gist of it. This is a picture of a cross-section of the Athabasca Basin, and you can see these red blobs on the cross-section, which represent the unconformity uranium deposits that have been found going back about 40 or 50 years, including Midwest Lake, where I worked back in 1979. The big news, though, is there's a new style of deposit being found in the basement rocks, which are in gray on this slide, and that includes the Triple R and the Arrow deposit. And this is about $4 billion worth of uranium discoveries that have been made in the last 10 years. And this has expanded the focus of exploration in northern Saskatchewan beyond the area of the Athabasca sandstone into the basement rocks. Okay, this is a map of northern Saskatchewan. You can see the Athabasca Basin in the middle. You can see the orange dots, which represent the major mines and also new discoveries. You can see the Wollaston Domain, which is where our property is located, in yellow. What you need to know about this is the Athabasca Basin actually overlies the uranium deposits, and the uranium deposits either sit right at the basement contact of the sandstone or in the basement rocks themselves. So we've been exploring at Kulik Lake, which is south of the Athabasca Basin, about 65 kilometers. which is within trucking distance of a major uranium mill at Key Lake. Cameco operated the Key Lake uranium mine for many years. They ran out of ore. They're now trucking ore 85 kilometers from McArthur River to Key Lake for processing. Our Kulik Lake property is 65 kilometers from Key Lake, so we're closer to Key Lake than where Cameco is getting their existing production. Okay, so what we did last fall is we commissioned an airborne survey using high-tech focused uranium airborne radiometrics. This was a survey technique that was developed by Special Projects Inc. out of Calgary in association with fission uranium, and it found a boulder field which resulted in the Patterson Lake South discovery, which was a $500 million prize. We flew the same survey last year at Kulik Lake, and this is our result. We were commissioning the study to look both for rare earths and uranium. Kulik Lake is a well-known high-grade rare earths occurrence. Total rare earths go up to 50%. The discoveries at Kulik Lake were made by prospecting along the lakeshore. You can see what's called Kulik Lake trenches around the narrow Kulik Lake. That's where the high-grade rare earths were discovered. It was trenched and never drilled. Academics have studied it. There are academic papers about it. Nobody's ever drilled it. So we staked this property for its rare earths potential, but we also knew on the same side of the lake there was also a reasonably good uranium showing. So we flew a survey over this entire area, and what the survey revealed was basically it was looking for high-grade thorium, which was the pathfinder mineral for rare earths, and also uranium. And we found a huge number of thorium anomalies on the opposite side of the lake to where historic grades have been recorded. And we found a brand new uranium zone, which is about 2 kilometers long, which is completely new. No drill holes, no showings, no past work, nothing. Now, what does this mean? Well, the geophysicists tell us that their survey technique can find narrow, high-grade uranium, but it needs to be a minimum of 1%, and it needs to be within 3 feet of surface. So finding those kind of grades over a significant distance on line after line after line, to me, represents a compelling uranium target. So we're going to go in there this summer and prospect the heck out of that and hopefully line up a significant drill program for next winter. And if the uranium target doesn't work, we have all of those rare earth anomalies also to follow up on. We have a second property also in the Wollaston domain, which has potential for uranium and other critical metals. Historically, this was found by Noranda and drilled in the 1970s, but all of the other metals beside uranium were ignored. And we know that at surface they have rocks that run up to $800 per ton in value, and we don't think the source of those has been properly found, so we're going to go after that as well. This is an airborne survey, the same survey that we did at Kulik Lake. We've outlined significant targets using this technology. In addition to what I've just talked about at Kulik Lake and at Duddridge Lake, we also have a significant gold project near Flin Flon. And here the idea, as John said, is we are consolidating a camp. It's an area where we have 4 former gold producers that were kind of small-scale mom-and-pop operations that were operated between the 1930s and the 1980s. But Stephen Wallace has noticed that these deposits, some of them line up along major shear zones, and there's never been prospecting and exploration for something bigger. We think they're all connected. We think there's a much bigger gold system here, and this is an ideal place to find it. So that's it. Searchlight Resources. We trade under a dime. Very inexpensive stock and a lot of upside. Thank you.